The carnivore diet on a budget. Is it affordable? Let's get into it. What's shaking, bacon? My name's Bruno Panucci. I've been doing this carnivore diet for almost a year and a half consistently. I've been doing it on and off for years before that, and I've lost over 150 pounds, 100 of which has been during this consistent window of time. So the interesting thing about this way of eating is it really affordable to do? I mean, it can get pretty expensive depending on how you manage your budget and where you like to eat and what kind of food you like to eat. So let's get into this because this is a journey I'm going through. This is a fitness and weight loss challenge that I'm doing. I want to make sure that while people are trying this, they can make it as affordable as possible, because this is one of those things, if you kind of stray a little bit too much with it and you start eating out too much or not paying attention to the prices of the food you're eating, it's going to get really expensive. One of the questions I often get with this way of eating is it really expensive? Well, I had some friends of mine who were concerned about that before they switched to carnivore. And I said, it's actually pretty affordable because you're not buying any of the carbs or vegetables that you're typically buying in your day-to-day life, because vegetables are actually kind of pricey to buy. So when you're sticking with just meat, it becomes quite affordable. They were worried that one, it would be tough to do, and two, could they even really afford to do something like this? And it actually is a really affordable way of eating. So let's get into what I've noticed has really benefited me whenever I do this way of eating to make it affordable. So I have to apologize. I'm shooting this video rather late at night. And while I was out of town, there was a pretty serious thunderstorm that went through the city. And it actually was pretty bad. There was a lot of property damage from trees that have fallen. That was pretty serious. I might have to upload it at my office because my Wi-Fi is down. One of the things I do, and the staples that I have in my diet, I stick with regular ground beef. I'm doing a lion diet, so that's just ruminant animals. So right now, that for me, that's mainly lamb and beef. So when I have my steak, that can get kind of expensive if I was just eating steaks. And what I do is I stick to ground beef. And what I've recently done is switched from a leaner ground beef to a fattier ground beef. And doing that, it's a lot cheaper, probably about $1.50 a pound cheaper. So it really works out. So if I'm having 3 pounds a day, right now, regular ground beef, that's what we call it in Canada, goes for $4 a pound. I've been able to get it on sale for $3 a pound. And this is during all this COVID shenanigans that's going on with all these really inflated prices. So I'm not really expecting it to be much cheaper than $4 a pound for the next little while. But even at $4 a pound, that's $12 a day. $12 a day is a really affordable way to eat. I would spend more than that at any restaurant I went to for lunch or dinner, and sometimes breakfast. So I'm pretty satisfied eating this way. You'll find that if you have a higher fat meat, a little goes a long way. So one of the ways that makes this affordable is switching from a leaner ground beef to a fattier ground beef, or having leaner steaks to a fattier steak. You want to watch when you're buying your meat. It's usually more expensive if you get steaks versus ground beef. So a staple of mine is ground beef, and I accent it with steaks here or there. And as I mentioned, I like to do my steaks sous vide. It's so nice. Another thing you can do is look for sales in the mornings at grocery stores. So when the grocery store opens, say it opens at 7 or 8 o'clock, you can go there, and for the first hour or two of the day, they have all the meat that they didn't sell from the last couple of days that they're trying to get rid of because it's going to expire the next day. So you can buy that meat, usually 30, 40, 50% off, and get a pretty decent price on it. So it's meat that all you have to do is put it right in your freezer, or you can cook it that day and you're there, you're set. So you can save some money going to the grocery stores earlier in the morning. They don't often advertise these sales because they're just trying to get rid of yesterday's stock. Now, another thing you can do if you're getting any meat is buying it in bulk, whether it's a pig or a cow. Everyone always leans towards cows, buying a cow in bulk, and it's pretty good. So in Canada, right now I spend $4.80 a pound when I get my half cow, and that's pretty affordable. So I keep the bones. I give the bones to my dog. I use the bones for stew. I make sure I keep all the fat. I give my dad some of the organ meats because I don't really have any interest in having any of the organ meats. And I get to keep almost everything before they've butchered the cow. But after it's been killed, it's cut in half and they hang it. And that's the weight you're paying for, the hung weight. So you decide at that point how you want your meat cut up. And on top of that, how you want it packaged. So I get mine packaged in vacuum seal bags. And it's really nice because I can get it packaged in 1 or 2 pound bags, or I can get 6 or 8 ounce burgers. So it's really nice. I can tell them how lean I want the ground beef. And that way I can keep all that fat because I want to have that fat. I actually eat my ground beef now with a spoon because I get a little bit of that fat in each mouthful of ground beef. And it's really helping keeping me satiated. I used to just drain all that fat before, but it's actually doing a lot more good eating that fat. I just wasn't one for all that oil, but that oil can bother some people. That loose oil versus like the white fat that you often eat with a steak, that doesn't tend to bother people. But that stuff you get in the ground beef that melts, that sometimes does bother people. So you want to watch it when you're doing something like that. But typically it doesn't bother most people. So give it a shot. Find out what works best for you that way. When you get a relationship with your butcher, you can walk through the whole list of what cuts you want and how you want them cut. And they'll do it exactly the way you want. And when you get them vacuum sealed like I do, they're going to last longer in the freezer. Eggs are a really affordable way you can go too. Eggs are pretty good, especially if you start getting them on sale and looking for sales at different stores and stocking up on them. Eggs last a really long time in the fridge. And if you had that for just breakfast every morning, you had a few eggs, that's a really affordable way to go. The nice thing about eggs is you can have them for breakfast, or if you want, you can pickle them, put them in a jar and keep them in the fridge so you have easy snack food as well. So eggs are versatile that way. You can scramble them, you can fry them, you can poach them, you can boil them. You can have them so many different ways. So it keeps the variety going in your way of eating. And the fact that eggs are so affordable really makes it helpful to keep it to a budget. So the other thing you can do is watch for sales and stock up when you do see sales. So the last time I saw ground beef go on sale for $3 a pound, I bought about 100 pounds, and that lasted me quite a while. Even though I get my cows at $4.80 a pound, it's still nice to stock up whenever I see ground beef go on sale. That's even cheaper than when I pay in bulk for a cow. So $4.80 a pound versus $3 a pound, can't go wrong with that. Even if I'm only paying $4 a pound for ground beef from a grocery store, it's still worthwhile. It doesn't even have the same flavor as the grass-fed, antibiotic-free, hormone-free beef I get. And I kind of like the fact that it tastes a little different. It's more like watered down. But I like that because there's more variety. I can have ground beef that tastes one way, a little stronger, and I could have ground beef that tastes a different way. And I like to go between the two, quite honestly. Another thing you can do is just not eat out so much. Eating out is what gets me. Whenever I get busy, I eat out a lot and I'll get wings and then I'll go home and have my wings because I like to have them nice and hot. So I don't like to sit and leave them packaged for a while. And when I have my wings, I always had like 3 to 5 pounds at a time. Yeah, I know that's really a lot. It's just how much I needed at the time. Now I'm watching my portion sizes now and I'm trying to bring that down and shrink my stomach, and it seems to be working. But 5 pounds of wings, right now, wings are really expensive. And I was spending $75, $80, and then sometimes there's a tip on top of that, and that can get really expensive. I can go out and buy wings, and I like cooking my own wings, and I can bake them in the oven, but I can go out and get wings for $5 a pound right now. And that's for some pretty premium raw wings. And I have to cut them up myself, but it's worth it. $5 a pound. So if I have 3 pounds of wings one way, that's only $15 and a little bit of work on my end. If I get 3 pounds of wings at a store, I'm looking at probably about $15 to $16 a pound. And that's going to be about $50 and then tax and tip. So it really starts to add up. So if you can make some of these dishes at home instead of going to a restaurant, that's a good way to go. I get it, there's going to be the odd occasion where you go out and sometimes it's nice to treat yourself. But just watching how much you spend at restaurants is going to make a huge difference when you're doing this carnivore diet. Another thing I do is I make my own sausage. I do it every January. Pork goes on sale really cheap in January. So I can get pork shoulders for about like $1.40, $1.50 a pound right now. And I used to be able to get it just a year or two ago for 99 cents a pound. So either way, getting meat that cheap is really nice. I bought about $100 worth of pork this year in January and made sausage and capicolo out of it. Capicolo is a cured deli meat. It tastes really nice. So I've been curing my own deli meats the last couple of years. I've been doing it with my dad. And probably next year I'm going to be doing it just on my own. But when it was all said and done, I had 100 pounds of sausage that I made. It's easy to spice up. It's not difficult at all to make. You could probably YouTube it. And there's a really affordable way to stock up your freezer and let that last all year long. So 100 pounds of sausage really sounds like a lot, but it goes pretty quick. What I love about sausage is I can take it right out of the freezer frozen, and put it on the barbecue. And I just put it on medium low, and I've been cooking it since I was 10 or 11 years old. Every now and then I'd be like, Brunello, go out and cook the sausage. And I'd go outside and I'd turn on the barbecue and I would cook the sausage for the family because everyone else was busy doing other things, preparing dinner. So it was a simple thing that even a child could work on the barbecue. And I still cook it to this day on the barbecue frozen. It's really nice. It's convenient so that when you've had a busy day, there's something you can take out of the freezer and cook, and you don't have to baby it. You can walk away while it's cooking, and you can just come back every few minutes and just turn it. Sausage is supposed to be cooked medium low and slow. So it might be on the barbecue for 20 minutes, a half hour, and it's so affordable. It's probably one of the most affordable things you can do. Another thing you can watch out for is not getting processed foods. Processed foods or anything store-bought will kill you. You look at how much you pay per pound for hot dogs, and you're going to stop and think twice before you buy them again. Per pound, not how much a package is, but how much it would be if you purchased 1 pound of hot dogs. You'd stop and go, wait a minute, I can get a pretty nice steak for that pound of hot dogs. Maybe I should just spend money on something like that instead of these hot dogs. Prepackaged food is usually an expensive way to go, and often they put fillers in there. And the problem with fillers is sometimes there's sugar or there's wheat product, and it's just not worth it, right? Another thing you can do is watch your portion sizes. So that's something I've been focusing on, is watching my portion sizes. I'm trying to bring my overall volume of food down. In this last year and almost a half of doing this carnivore, I was doing it having about 6 pounds of meat a day, and I was still losing weight doing that. So my resting metabolic rate was about, after exercise and daily activity, about just under 4,000 calories, but I was having over 6,000 calories of food in a day, and I was still losing weight. So calories isn't the only thing you have to watch out for, because hormones are another thing. And so even though I was having 6,000 calories a day, it started to level off. Once I started getting down to about the 100-pound mark, the weight was really coming off slower. So I'm tweaking it at this point. I'm really paying attention to how I feel, and that's really the king of what I'm doing. I'm trying to lose weight, but more importantly, I'm trying to build my metabolism. The weight loss will come along with that. So I hope these have been some good suggestions. There's quite a few there you can do to manage this. Like I said with the sausage, it might seem a little overwhelming. I'm not going to make sausage, but you know what? It's not that difficult. It's really easy, actually. There's lots of YouTube videos out there of people making sausage that teach you how to make sausage, and you can follow along. You have a lot of time to watch and prepare for the next time pork shoulders go on sale. So keep that in mind. This is a really cool way of eating, and it's not as expensive as people think it is, because you're actually cutting out a lot of the expensive foods that are pre-packaged, all the junk food, as well as all the restaurant food and all the pre-packaged foods, and you're eating real food. It's a healthier way to go. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Talk to you later.